Hello, everyone. I thought I'd talk about a really interesting subject recently. I know there's been a lot of drama about Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle, and about this jeans advert, which I just think is kind of ridiculous. I mean, this might have been a deliberate marketing ploy, but I don't think it has. I think it's just been swept up through the media, whether it's through TikTok or the mainstream media. I don't know. And people have managed to get offended over nothing. They've been so. The advert with American Eagle was about Sydney Sweeney's Sydney Sweeney in these jeans, where for this advert where she shows them off basically and says she's got great jeans, and the pun or the wordplay there is that obviously she's saying that her jeans are like genetically she's a good looking woman, and I guess conventionally, most people probably say she is, and that's the joke that the genes are great and her genes are great. However, some people have somehow managed to completely take it the wrong way and presume that they're talking about her white ethnicity, and that her genetically, she's better than everyone because she's white and white Caucasian, which I just think is stupid, because obviously that's not what that company was going for. They weren't deliberately being racist. They're just trying to sell some jeans, and this might have been a deliberate marketing play, which in hindsight is actually quite a smart play, because they've got so much attention. American Eagle, that sales are up loads, I think, and I think it's at 20% or something up sales. And at the end of the day, it's almost one of those situations where any media is kind of good media for them, because it's just people are debating about it heavily. Some people are defending it, some people are against it, but their jeans are in the spotlight now. They got more publicity than they probably could have ever wished for. So what I said about that is Sydney Sweeney's not at fault, American Eagle's not at fault. People need to stop being ridiculous. This is just people trying to get upset about anything, basically. There's nothing to get upset about here. People are just trying to find an excuse to get angry at some large corporation. And don't get me wrong, some corporations definitely play up to certain types of people to try and stir some controversy. But I don't even think this was deliberately controversial. I think they were just playing on the idea that a lot of people think Sydney Sweeney is very conventionally attractive. And it's just a simple play on words. But if there is one criticism involving Sydney Sweeney that would come out of this, is that obviously she's used in this video as this kind of sex symbol to show off jeans. But that's happened with celebrities, good-looking female celebrities, for ages. And it's kind of to do with her roles in film and TV. I feel a lot of her roles promote her body before her acting. I can just think of so many films or TV series where she's either completely naked or half naked or in scantily clad clothes. And I feel, there's also this, at least on this broader subject of a lot of nudity in films, I feel is purely gratuitous nowadays. If you want to film a sex scene, for example, Sydney Sweeney's done a load of them, I think. Not having a go at her, but she's just been involved in some of them. If you want to convey that two characters are going to have sex, you could do that without actually showing the act of them both having sex. You don't need to have them both actually get completely naked, and then, because at the end of the day, it's awkward for the actors who probably don't want to do that. It's awkward for the film crew and cast. It's awkward for consumers, so people want to watch it. If you want to watch it with your parents or family members, or friends, it could be really awkward and uncomfortable. And so I don't think anyone really wins at the end of the day. And I just don't think it's necessary. And also, you can imply a sex scene is going to happen, or something graphic's going to happen without actually showing it. But I understand sometimes it's just for, a physical manifestation of their love. But a lot of the times I feel it's more leans towards just gratuitous, and it's just to show off, good-looking actors naked. And I feel that happens a lot with Sydney Sweeney. I know she was in that film with that was directed by Ron Howard, I think, in Australia, where she was a nun, I think. I think she was naked in that film. She was naked in what was that TV series she was in? It wasn't White Lotus. She was in a bikini in that, I think, but that was that. I think for that. she was in another TV, Euphoria, sorry. She was naked in that, very naked in that, and then she was also in a number of TV films, sorry, like, not Now I See You, it's the one she just did with Glenn Powell. It's based on a Greek play, basically, and it's a comedy, and it's basically her and Glenn Powell, who had a bit of a confusion after they slept together, and they thought they hated each other, and they're both sleazy people, but in the end it turns out they loved each other, and they, spoiler alert, they get together at the end of the film, but she gets naked in that as well. And yeah, she gets naked in a number of things, or whether she's in a bikini, or she's half naked. There's also a film about her cheating on her husband, or her boyfriend, sorry. Gets fully naked in that. And yeah, I mean, other TV series like White Lotus, she's also scantily clad. I mean, it seems almost everything she does, her body is shown off in it. I feel like it would be interesting to do, because I think she's still a talented actor, but I think she needs to do more roles where she, doesn't have to get scantily clad or show off her body as part of the film, because I feel like, I understand one of the films maybe why she'd get naked, but I feel there's just so many scenes that just, they don't have to get naked. I understand sometimes they feel it's needed to show off their love and passion for each other, but I feel a lot of these times in the film, if you leave it up to the imagination of the viewer, that can still be extremely powerful, and you could still, create a very good and interesting story and emotional and really romantic and passionate moment without actually having to see two naked actors awkwardly grind on each other. I feel Sydney Sweeney is one of the kind of the biggest victims of this, and she's talented, but I just feel like it'd be great to see her in more roles where she's not kind of shoehorned into like the good-looking, stereotypical woman who men are after in the film, and see her do some more nuanced roles. Maybe a horror, or where she's not just the scared good-looking girl, or I think she was a great producer on that comedy film. I think it's actually quite a good film, even though she gets naked at the end, or she's sort of naked when she has a shower scene with Glenn Powell, I think, but she was I think she produced or directed that movie. That's a pretty good movie still. And it'd be just interesting to see her do movies where, yeah, it's just her acting's the main focus of the film, not her body, which, to be fair, it's not always her fault. I mean, because a lot of directors may cast her because they like her looks or her body, even though she's also a good actor, which she's also been cast for. But yeah, it'd just be nice to show off her acting chops a bit more, I think, and not come out of the film and thinking the first thing you're thinking in your mind is, wow, she's so good looking, she's so attractive, she's so hot. But yeah, I hope she does a lot more of those different kind of films, and that kind of links back to the American Eagle advert, where a lot of her things, so I think she did a cover for Rolling Stones where it was just, she leant backwards over and she wasn't wearing a bra or anything, it was just her chest again they were showing off, and there's nothing wrong with her doing this. It's her career, it's her life, her body, she can do what she wants. I'm not criticising her for it, I'm just saying I don't want her to kind of get typecast into this stereotypical good-looking woman as like the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Sydney Sweeney, rather than a talented, young, intelligent actor / woman. Well, I don't know why I said slash, but yeah, actor. That's one thing you get from the interviews in press tour. She's quite funny and very smart, and good sense of humour. And you just kind of feel like you wish that would come across more. And I feel like, obviously, I understand with marketing campaigns, you would obviously maybe show off, if you've got Sydney Sweeney, maybe show off some of her best assets. Excuse the pun, which her body, she's obviously got a very athletic, healthy body. So that's obviously one of the things I might want to show off, but you just feel, there was also that bathwater instance, I think, where, I don't know if that's a joke or not, but like stuff like that kind of, it doesn't like sully her name or, give her kind of a reputation. It's just like, I kind of feel like she can own it, and, just say, well, I can do this and it's empowering for me, and I don't care what people say, which is great, and I think she does do. But you just don't want her getting like shoehorned or give people an excuse to say she's just, she's that kind of actor or that kind of person. She's good to look at, because there's obviously a lot more to her, and I feel like sometimes these adverts or marketing campaigns shoehorn that in, like hit her into that category. I don't know if American Eagle necessarily does it. I mean, obviously she shows off her body a bit in this, but obviously the whole controversy was about jeans. And anyway, yeah, back to that. I mean, obviously they're not talking about her whiteness. I just don't understand how people could come to that conclusion. And people just seem to like take this bait and like search for reasons to become offended. I think people need to get over themselves. I mean, seriously, it's just getting ridiculous. Like, and as I said, Sydney Sweeney, American Eagle, I don't think they owe anyone an apology or anything. It's an advert. If you take it that way, fine. But I think that's a crazy kind of way to take it. But on the broader topic of Sydney Sweeney, it's fine her doing these because ultimately she's in control of all of these marketing campaigns that she does and all her films and TV series that she does. But yeah, as I said, it would be nice to see her, instead of seeing her talked about online about how she's kind of caving to her all these like simps or whatever. If people don't know what simps is, it's just men who fall head over heels way too much for and idolise women a bit too much. So all these men that kind of idolise her or ogle her, that she shouldn't give these people what they want in a sense. Because you see online a lot of influencers or YouTubers talking about how she needs to stop kind of doing these things, where she's showing off her body, which is a bit hypocritical because men do it probably almost just as much as a woman, because you see them in Calvin Klein adverts, you see them getting shirtless a lot, and they would never get anywhere near as much criticism as a woman if they got topless or showed off in a lingerie advert. I mean, obviously if you're doing a lingerie advert, you want to show off the lingerie, that's fine, but if it was a man who did what Sydney Sweeney did, I generally don't think this would have caught as much of a storm as it did, because I feel people kind of look to criticise maybe young women in the industry a lot more than young men in the industry. So, if it's Timothée Chalamet, or I think his name is Timothée Chalamet actually, yeah, or Austin Butler, who were like topless in a jeans advert or in a not a Calvin Klein advert, like a perfume advert, people wouldn't care as much. But I mean, because it's Sydney Sweeney, people instantly, because people think, oh, she's attractive, she's just playing up for this, like she's instantly going to get more hate than other people, which I think is kind of unfair and a bit hypocritical. And that's definitely one problem I think she needs to, I don't think she needs to tackle. She's handling it pretty well. She just needs to not give people any baits kind of to feed off. But of course, people online and YouTube, people who talk kind of like I am now, only use it because they know they can further promote themselves and their channel to try and get as many views as possible and give dramatic clickbaity headlines where they call her out. And I think it's unfair, and I think it's just another excuse sometimes to bash women. But I don't think, obviously some conservative influencers aren't going after her like Asmongold. They're kind of defending her. Even if the president of the United States defending her, saying, oh yeah, she's a Republican, that's great, which we don't know if she even is or whatever, but that doesn't matter. Saying, oh yeah, it's, these woke people trying to cancel them because of this. And I think this is, I don't think it's necessarily to do with wokeness or cancel culture. This is just, I feel it's just people just trying too hard to find drama in their lives and bring down celebrities, because there's definitely this idea of bringing down people who are wealthy and successful and maybe are good looking, and people, there's a sense of jealousy against them, which I think there is against a lot of people, but I think it's against young good looking women, it's definitely a much bigger problem. And you feel a bit sorry for her, but if she's able to shield herself from all that rubbish and carry on, then that's good for her. I mean, I think she's doing a decent job of it anyway. But yeah, as I said, I don't want to do her to kind of like get herself typecast into this kind of beautiful, stereotypical, maybe conventional, every man wants her kind of woman, and like showing off her body, because like it can be both empowering, which I'm sure is what she says obviously, and that she can be nude, and it's not about objectification, it's about the art of the movie and like the storytelling and what's important to the movie, which it definitely has been in her case in some circumstances. And I know if you have a movie just based around it about relationships and sex, then that's gonna happen. But I definitely feel there's movies where it's just unnecessary, and I feel she's been in a decent amount of movies where it's kind of showing off her body a lot more. But anyway, yeah. I mean, some people may disagree with that, some people may agree with that, I don't know. It'd be great to hear you guys in the comment section, hear what you think. I mean, again, the American Eagle stuff, that's all a load of rubbish. I mean, it's just all of this drama is helping them anyway, so I think people need to calm down. But I think people would need to calm down the same way about, you know, corporate films. I think it was Bud Light. They showed off how they were trans, like, accepting, I think, where they had someone who was trans who advertised it, and they said these companies go woke, and it's kind of this false sincerity, and they're being disingenuous because they don't actually believe in these rights or LGBTQIA plus rights, because they're just doing it to try and show that they're, you know, with young people nowadays, or more accepting, which is kind of, sometimes it is a load of rubbish. But I think people overreact to that just as much as they overreact to this. So whether you're, and I don't think it's fair to class people who oppose, like, adverts as just group them all into, like, for example, the American Eagle advert, you know, describing everyone as woke or liberal if who disagree with that. I think it's, you know, because not all liberal people disagree with this advert. I think most people don't care or are interested in this, but of course conservatives maybe use this as an excuse to say, look, this is cancel culture, which is part of the left taking over again, trying to cancel everyone, or cancel, like, a company that's maybe leaning towards conservatives. But it's not even leaning towards conservatives. There's nothing in this advert to me. I mean, I don't think there was, unless they deliberately wanted to cause offence. But there's nothing in it, I don't think. And people need, so I feel like someone said this actually in a YouTube video. I think it was Jeremy Jahns, the film reviewer. He does some interesting film reviews, and he said on his channel about movies nowadays how they need, like Disney movies in particular, they need to stop baiting YouTubers and reviewers and people online, and these people online who review these movies need to stop taking the bait. And I feel that same way about marketing like this. You know, it's just marketing. They're just trying to sell a product at the end of the day. They don't care whether it's good news or bad news or debatable news. As long as they're in the news, that's what they want. So if people need to just take a few steps back and just realise, you know, they're just trying to sell a product at the end of the day, and stop going after certain people, and, you know, think before they say stuff online. So yeah, say what you think in the comments. I'll be interested to read what people think, and thank you. Goodbye.